What's up, guys? Welcome back to another review. This time I'm going to take a look at the Wolfman 2010 remake of the original film starring Lon Chaney Jr. This one stars Benicio del Toro, Anthony Hopkins, Hugo Weaving, Emily Blunt. Let's waste no time. Let's get into this. Overall, I really like this movie, though I do acknowledge the many problems that it does have, and it does affect the overall quality of the film. And even though I like this movie, I'm going to be very fair and very objective. I'll highlight the positives and I'll highlight the negatives, and then at the end of the review, I'll give my overall conclusion. Positives. Benicio del Toro as Larry Talbot, it works for me. I like Del Toro as an actor, and I thought he was a good choice to play Lawrence Talbot, the Wolfman. I like the presence that he has. I like the tortured soul that he has. I like this dark hidden secret that he has. I love the antagonistic and tumultuous relationship he has with his father, Sir John, played by Anthony Hopkins. I think Del Toro and Hopkins kind of play off that rivalry fairly well. You know, Hopkins, of course, plays Sir John Talbot, the father of Larry Talbot, and the movie reveals that, you know, Sir John Talbot is a werewolf himself, and it's actually him who inflicted his son with the curse of the wolf. So I like that whole rivalry, and I also like the fact that when Larry was younger, Sir John pretty much sent Larry away because Larry witnessed his mother being killed. It's revealed that, John Talbot, under the curse of the wolf, murdered his wife and scarred Larry Jr. and scarred Larry, which is why he shipped off Larry to America. And that pretty much started the whole antagonistic relationship and very shaky relationship between the father and the son. And I think that's the strongest part of the movie. I think Del Toro and Hopkins have a really good on-screen chemistry with one another. I buy the fact that there is very little love between these two characters. There's a lot of deep-seated hatred, especially from Larry to his father. And I think both actors played it well without being too hammy with it. That's just my personal opinion. Emily Blunt played Gwen, the love interest, and I thought she did a fine job, though I don't think her and Del Toro had enough scenes to really sell the romance. And it's pretty much a bare bones type thing. They had a couple of scenes peppered here and there, but not enough to convince me that this woman is willing to risk her life to lift the curse of the wolf. Though the movie, bless its heart, tries really hard to sell you that, I'm just not buying it. The more I watch it, the more I'm like, yeah, this romance is really thrown together. There's no chance to develop it. They have a half-assed kiss that happens midway, that happens in the third act of the movie, and it's just really forced. Not only that, bro, why are you macking on your dead brother's fiance, man? What the fuck? The whole purpose of you coming back to Blackmore is to find out what happened to your brother. Of course, it's revealed that Anthony Hopkins, once again, under the guise of the wolf, killed his own son. That gets revealed later on in the movie, which adds just another layer of hatred that Larry has for his father. Again, I reiterated, the strongest relationship in this movie is the father and son antagonistic relationship. It's the main thread of the thing. But a lot of the side relationships, they're just there. Some work and some don't. You got Hugo Weaving, who plays Detective Aberline, who was on the case, who's on the investigative case, and I actually like his character a lot. I like the little plot thread that goes on with him and Del Toro, with him and Larry Talbot, and how he's pretty much tracking him down, and actually witnessing Larry's transformation to the wolf, which is a great scene, by the way. And that entire massacre of London is fantastic. The Rick Baker's practical effects look spectacular. The Wolfman look in this movie is a modern update of that classic Lon Chaney look. It's beautiful. It looks fantastic. Rick Baker, this is the last movie Rick Baker ever did. And it's a goddamn shame that Rick Baker's out of the game, because he is a wizard at makeup effects. He did Man in Black. He did An American Werewolf in London. Rick Baker, of course, is highly influenced by the likes of Jack Pierce, who was the original Universal Monster makeup man from the 30s and 40s and 50s. And you can clearly see that influence in this movie. Rick Baker, you could tell off the bat that this was the movie Rick Baker was waiting to do. This movie is pretty much him coming full circle. having grown up as a big fan of Jack Pierce, and now his last movie got to be The Wolf Man, a movie that Jack Pierce was highly influential with because of his makeup designs, and it's bittersweet that Rick Baker quit, but it is kind of cool that his career went full circle because his last movie got to be a movie that influenced him as an artist, and you gotta respect that. As a fan, I respect it, and at the same time, as a fan, I hate it because he's no longer in the business. But that's that. Rick Baker, you are a genius, my man. I hope you do one more movie before you call it quits for good. Joe Johnston as a director, I like Joe Johnston. He does a journeyman's job with the film. It's not horrible. It's not horribly shot. It could have been shot a whole lot better, but this movie has a very tumultuous production history. So the fact that it came out as good as it did is a tribute to the talent behind the camera. I like the cinematography. I think Shelley Johnson does a really good job at capturing that Victorian atmosphere of London. That's what this movie does. This movie does have a really good atmosphere to it. I love the production design, the set designs. They did a really good job at recreating Victorian London. The costumes look good to me. The architecture is solidly done. The CGI transformation scenes, though, I would have loved to have seen how they would have done it practically, because that was the original intent. But the CGI looks kind of shaky in a lot of areas. It's not all that great. And I really wish we would have gotten those practical transformations, because I would have loved to have seen how that would have looked on camera. Really would have loved to have seen how that looked on camera. Of course, we didn't get that, but, can't really do much with that. But yeah, this movie just eventually builds up to this big climax between, the Wolf Man, Larry Talbot, and the werewolf, Sir John. And these guys have a monster brawl in the Blackmore house, and it's fun to watch. Just full-on monster madness, and I love it. It was brutal. It was wicked. That's what this movie is, too. This movie is really, really gory. It pulls no punches. The attack on the gypsy camp is thrilling. You get a Rick Baker cameo. He gets attacked by the wolf. I bet he had a lot of fun with that one. Like I said, the London massacre is probably one of the best scenes in the whole movie. It's just the Wolfman going completely bonkers. And then you got the wolf-on-wolf violence at the end, which is also great. So, yeah. Again, this movie does have a lot of negatives, does have a lot of positives, and I think it's a fair mix of both, which is why I got no problem giving this thing a 7 out of 10. Just fix those problems, and this movie would have been great. You can tell this movie was a victim of a bad production history and a lot of rewrites, and we were lucky that it came out as decent as it did. But again, fix the problems with Larry and Gwen, tighten up their relationship, make it feel more natural. Even though I liked Hugo Weaving in the role as Aberline, he really doesn't have much of a presence, which is a damn shame, because Hugo Weaving's a talented actor, and I would have loved to have had more of a rivalry developed between Aberline and Larry Talbot. Again, the movie does go there, but doesn't flesh out enough, which is a damn shame, because that would have been just another good thing to latch onto. But the thing that to me that works is the father-son rivalry. That works for me. The backstory works for me. Everything else in this movie works for me as well. So yeah, 7 out of 10. If you have not seen, let me know if you've seen the Wolfman remake in the comment sections below. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'll check you back next time for more.